Hi, everyone. We are back for another masterclass. And today we have an important phrasal verb for you. And Alistair and I are going to discuss this phrasal verb. And it's important for one particular reason. Well, for a number of reasons, and we will discuss that. And the phrasal verb that we're going to be talking about today is to look into. And yeah, maybe, Alistair, you could just tell us a little bit about what the real initial meaning of look into means, and we can kind of go from there, right?
Well, it means to investigate. So we have the word in English, investigate, which is easier for our members, for Spanish speakers, because investigar is the same word, basically. Yeah. But very often native speakers don't use the word investigate. We use look into. So you have to know it. Maybe you don't use it, although obviously the point of this masterclass is to encourage our members to use it and to practice using it. But at the very least, you need to understand it, because somebody could ask you, could you look into this? Or we're looking into something, and you need to understand what it means. So, the police are looking into the crime. So they're investigating.
Yeah.
But it is used quite a lot. It's very common.
It is. Phrasal. It is.
And that's
it is.
the basic meaning, to do research into something.
Research, yeah. I kind of actually probably, because research is a little bit more universal, and imagine that you're kind of working in some sort of, legal company or financial company. Probably you would research rather than investigate, right? There's kind of,
or
there is
research might be more common.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So there you go. You kind of got that look into idea. You can pretty much be investigating something in some contexts and researching maybe in another. It's kind of like they're two different words there in English. But that's kind of the main meaning. And so if our listeners can, or our members can use it like that, in terms of looking into something, I will look into this, right? We need to look into this. If you can use it instead of researching or investigating something, then that's good, right? That's a good alternative.
Expanding your vocabulary, which we're always trying to do.
Yeah.
So you say our company at the moment is currently looking into the possibility of, expanding into new markets, or diversifying our products, or using social media more than we do now to do advertising.
Yeah.
So that's what you're looking into. So you're investigating, researching the possibility of doing something, or how to do it. No?
Yes, exactly. And so this is a kind of an interesting one, because this phrasal verb in particular, and that's why we'll kind of wanted just to focus on this one phrasal verb, because it has an extra power, a special power, let's say.
Use, no particular use.
Yes, exactly. And it's so important, and it's something that I think both of us would probably use instinctively, Alistair. I think
I'm sure we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
With each
Especially
other, no doubt.
So, or even like in classes, like we don't have all the answers, right? We don't have all the answers. Sometimes we do
immediately. They don't come to mind in the moment you need them.
Yeah. So let's talk about when in this context, which type of context this particular phrasal verb is so important. It's when you are in a situation, maybe in a meeting, or maybe after a presentation in a Q&A session, and somebody asks you a question, and you're not 100% sure. Now, that, of course, there can be different. That this is a range. You could maybe not know the answer at all. You guys literally got no idea, or you may not have the full answer, right? And so in which case you want to buy some time, right, Alistair? As you reminded me this expression, you want to buy some time.
Buy yourself a bit of time.
Yeah.
To find out. There's another phrasal verb, averiguar, to find out, to get the answer to that question. As you say, either so some kind of unexpected question, maybe you're not prepared for, or you just don't have you don't want to give a partial answer.
That's right.
Give a good full answer to that question, or you just don't know. With one of the two things.
Yeah.
And this happens to us as coaches, teachers. People ask difficult grammar. Why this and not this, and why do we say that?
Yeah.
And either you don't know, or you can't remember, or in that moment you don't have a good explanation in your mind.
Yeah.
So you don't want to give a bad explanation or go, well, sort of this. So you need a sort of something to say to that person, to the client, in that moment, because I can't give you really a proper or a full answer now. So
exactly.
what do we say in that situation?
Yeah, well, we're kind of, it's a really great one, isn't it? And so this particular phrasal verb will help you, because what you can say is, oh, well, you could potentially start with one sentence, which will give you a bit more time, which is that you can say, oh, that's a great question, right? But you're not using the phrasal verb there, but at least you're kind of saying, you're giving yourself a bit of time to think about this phrasal verb, right? That we're going to talk
Thank
about.
You for that question. That's a great question.
It's a great question.
Really,
you're
really
thinking,
great
oh,
question. No, why did you ask me that? That's a terrible question.
Yeah.
But you have to say, oh, yeah, great question. Very interesting.
It's a great question, right?
I'm glad you asked me that.
Exactly.
You're not, probably.
Yeah. So this could be a bit stressful, right? Situations when you suddenly realize, I'm not going to be able to really answer that very well. So this kind of like is a bit of a savior in a way, this phrasal verb, and that's why we wanted to focus on it so much. And so your next sentence will be, well, I'll look into that for you. I'll look into that. It's a really good question, because I think I need to look into that. So this is where it comes into play, right, Alistair? This is where that phrasal verbs comes into play, because you're basically saying, you're being proactive. You're not going to say, and you're avoiding, I don't know. You don't want to say that, right? I don't know. Yeah. That's the sentence that I've got, literally got here on the piece of paper. It's like, sorry, I don't know. You don't want to say that, right?
What you could do, as long as you qualify it with, I'll look into it. I mean, there's nothing wrong necessarily admitting you don't know. Maybe
that's true.
You might want to avoid saying you don't know and just say, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I haven't got a full answer for you. I don't know all the details, and I want to give you a full good answer. So I'll look into that. Look into that for you, and or you could just say, to be honest, I don't really know the answer to that question, but I'll look into it for you.
Yeah.
And another phrase that we want, I'll get back to you on that.
Yes.
I'll get back to you with the answer as soon as I can, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow, if there's another meeting the next day, for example. So I'll get back to you on that tomorrow. I want to give you a good answer, full answer, not just answer it now, partially off the top of my head. There's another good expression. If you answer something off the top of your head, you don't really know that you're just saying what you have in your brain in that moment. But it's better to actually give a better, fuller, more precise answer by looking into it.
Yeah,
exactly. Making sure you give a correct answer, and not just one you just answer in the moment when you're not really sure.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So that last sentence is good as well, right? So like, as you mentioned, I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you. So we've got 3 sentences just to just to go over it again. You say, wow, that's a great question. That's the first one. The second one, I'll look into that for you. I'll look into that. For you, or whatever. You can say for you if you want to, or I'll look into that over the next few days, or whatever.
Or in more detail.
Yeah. And then after that, and then you can say, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. Right.
I'll get back to you later. I'll get back to you tomorrow, as soon as possible. So as soon as I know the answer, I'll get back to you.
Yeah. So that kind of really gets you out of any sticky sort of situations. And you just want to have it in your back pocket, right? You want to have it in your back pocket so that you can use that in any sort of, any question that might come your way that you're not 100% sure about. Is like really useful.
Yeah, and very useful as coaches, teachers. One class, somebody asks you a very difficult question in a class or in a coaching session. You say, great question. I'll get back to you on that in the next class.
I'll get back to you. Or I'll look into that. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll look into it and get back to you.
Yeah,
and we can discuss it next week or next class or whatever. Or I'll send you. I'll send you an email or a message with the answer. I'll look into it and I'll let you know the answer as soon as possible. Yeah. So it is a good one to get you out of that situation. Just saying, oh, I don't know. Because you're being proactive. Because you're not disappointing the person by just saying, I don't know, and that's it. Yeah. So there's no answer to your question. You say, no, I don't know at the moment. I can't give you a full answer now, but I'm going to investigate it. I'm going to do a bit of research and I'll get back to you. So the person's like, oh, okay. So they're probably quite happy with that response.
Another strategy is to partially answer the question, isn't it? You could partially answer the question Give them what you know, but then you say, but of course, that's not the whole story. So I'm sure there's a little bit extra. So I'll look into that for you and
I
get
want to
back
give you
to
more
you.
complete answer,
Yeah.
more detailed.
So that's kind of a halfway house, right? You can actually.
That's a good way to deal with it. Say what you do know, but then admit that that is not the full answer.
Yeah.
And you want to, look into it more.
Yeah.
And then get back to the person with a,
it's really
with a better
nice,
answer,
really
or
nice
fuller,
solution.
more complete answer.
Yeah. So the challenge, Alistair, for our community members this week is to think of a moment when that happened, right? That's the idea. Okay. So think of a moment where you were kind of like, because this is the whole idea of telling a little bit of a story, because otherwise, it's like, it's nice for us to hear those stories. So think of a moment when that happened to you, and what your answer was, and maybe whether you use that strategy. Maybe you could tell us, what words did you use? And maybe you can think of the exact phrase that you used, and maybe whether this strategy would be better for you, simply, and
so it could be in a presentation with question answers at the end.
Yeah.
Meeting with a client, a meeting situation. Well, any situation someone asked you something, you didn't have the full, either you couldn't answer it at all, or you only had a partial answer, and you had to look into it and get back to that person.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little anecdote where that happened.
Exactly.
Now, if you want, as an extra challenge, if you like, you could also give us an example of the sort of normal meaning, if you like, the everyday meaning of look into.
Oh, that's true. That's true as well. Yeah.
So maybe at the moment you or your company or your team is researching or investigating something. So you're looking into something. So you maybe if you want to, you could give us 2 examples.
That's right.
But at least give us one of those 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. Really look into, really powerful phrasal verb because of that dual function, right? Not only do you have that idea of looking into something, which is very frequent in terms of a business situation, just the pure meaning of it, but also that really, really powerful way of sort of buying time, giving maybe a partial answer, but not a full answer, and just being proactive and really kind of showing that you are knowledgeable, but maybe you don't have all the details, right?
You're being professional, no?
Yeah.
Giving a professional image, not just like, shrug it. This is a shrug your shoulders. Good expression. Just going, I don't know. No, you don't want to do that. So
no. Good, Alistair. That's it for this week. Thank you very much. And obviously, I'll see you next week for another masterclass. Okay. All right. See you then. Bye.